Greetings and salutations, everyone. Today I'm reviewing a fountain pen that is a Chinese fountain pen, and that is the Baoer 388 or 388. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the name of the pen correctly. I've heard it pronounced a million different ways, and we're just going to go with that pronunciation. So you guys may look at this pen and say, man, that really looks like a Parker Sonnet, and you would be very accurate in that statement. And in fact, I will put a Parker Sonnet right next to it, and as you can tell, very similar. So let's focus on this pen. Looking at the pen, well, first let me say how I acquired the pen. So I got it from eBay. I paid less than $6 for the pen. I think about $5.80 to be exact. Free shipping. From time of purchase took a little. I think it was 11 days to get to my front door. The pen did not come in any packaging as far as a pen coffin or anything of that nature. It was just wrapped very tightly in bubble wrap, which I am totally fine with because I don't need any more pen boxes. Again, relatively cheap pen. Now the pen itself. So the first thing, we'll start at the top of the pen. You see that you've got a metal band along with this black styled jewel. It looks very similar to another fountain pen. And you've got this clip here, which is the trademark Parker clip. Clip is very stiff, however, it does work well. You've got this interesting red kind of tiger striped pattern, is at least what I call it. And I think it's a nice look to the pen. Not a huge fan of red pens, but I got this one to kind of mimic my Parker Sonnet that I own. And moving on down to the bottom, you'll see you've got a wide cap band, you've got your branding on this side, and then if you flip it over to the back, you've got the model number of the actual fountain pen. And then again, moving down the barrel, tapers down slightly, and then as you can tell, just a rounded finial at the back end. Now this is a metal fountain pen, as you can kind of hear it. It is a pop-off cap, just like the Sonnet, and I will say the cap definitely it's stiff. I mean, it does take a little bit of pressure to get the cap off and a little bit of pressure to pop back on, but I actually like that. You're not going to worry about it, popping off while in a shirt pocket or anything of that nature, and it feels well made as far as the cap goes itself. Now, taking the cap off and looking at this section, relatively skinny section, tapers down, as you can tell, towards the end. Even though it is a metal section, so to speak, I don't find this section to be slippery when writing. One thing I do notice when I'm kind of resting my fingers back towards the step down from the barrel to the section here, I do kind of notice that rubbing on my fingers a little bit. Not extremely bothersome, but if you're someone that holds your pen up higher, it may be something that might bother you a little bit. Taking the barrel off, just twist off, reveals a metal collar here. You see you've got a standard international converter here. Obviously, if you're someone that uses cartridges, you can use a standard international cartridge as well. Converter is branded with their logo on there. So it is a proprietary converter, but again, it's a standard international, so it does the job. As you can tell, you've got metal threads there, metal inner body as well. There's that part of the pen. Now, looking at the nib itself. Nib is, it's nice. I mean, it's not a very large nib. As you can tell, it's got some of their branding on it. Two-tone nib. It's a nib. It definitely doesn't scream anything to me. As you can see, you've got kind of a standard plastic feed. From what I've been able to tell, the nib is not removable, but the nib works. It writes. It's a pen that's under $6, and it writes well, I might add. You can kind of see that cap liner in there. That plastic liner definitely makes for a nice tight fit when you put the cap back on. It definitely, I think, seals up that nib well. And again, I kind of like the fact that it definitely gives you a little bit of resistance when you push that cap on, and I like the sound of that click. Now, the size of the pin, it is a little bit larger than a standard Parker Sonnet, as you can tell. The size of the pin is 5 3/8 inches capped, 4 3/4 inches uncapped, and 6 inches posted. This is a pin that, for me anyways, I can write unposted. But if you have extremely large hands, obviously you can post the pin. I will say the balance of this pin, it does become a little bit back heavy. I definitely notice it, so it is a pin that I write with unposted. I have also read in some other reviews online, rightfully so with a pen in this price range, that over time this coating and material will wear down, especially if you post your pen a lot. You will see some wear of the paint or the coating on the metal will start to wear off over time, because that cap liner is so tight when you post onto the back of the pen. So just something to bear in mind, if you acquire this pen. Again, it's not a large investment, not a big issue. My biggest thing, does the pen write? Does it feel good in the hand? And it checks all those boxes. So really, that is, for me, really it for the pen. I'll do a quick comparison. Obviously, huge price differences. You may ask yourself, well, how does this pen perform compared to a Parker Sonnet? Well, Parker Sonnet has an 18 karat gold nib. This pen, does the Parker Sonnet perform 20 times better, because you're obviously going to be paying a lot more for Parker Sonnet than this pen here? No, not necessarily. This pen writes well and performs well. Which pen would I prefer? I'm going to go with the Parker Sonnet. I think it's definitely going to hold up over a long period of time, hold up a lot better. And you can't go wrong with that 18 karat gold nib. It's one of the few Parker pens I have that kind of is a soft nib, and it's very, very pleasant to write with. So up next, guys, do a writing sample for this pen, and then we'll finish up from there. All right, we are back. So as I stated before, this is the Baoer 388. So first thing, you can definitely tell this is a nice writer. It writes well. I would say that this doesn't have any indication on as far as the size of the nib or what it is. Looking at the tipping material and the way it writes, I would definitely say a fine nib. The ink that I'm using is Waterman Audacious Red. Do a quick writing sample. There you have it. This is a consistent writer. It's a pen that I actually kind of like writing with. It's not a very heavy pen. It lays down a consistent amount of ink. I wouldn't say it's a gusher, but it is a wet writer. The feed, you can, this nib, it's not soft by any means, but you can kind of get it to flex a little bit, but the feed does not keep up with it. But just for everyday writing, this pen is excellent. It writes very well. It's consistent. For less than $6, this pen, I think, is a great buy. This is my first Baoer that I own, and I've watched a lot of reviews on them. I've been pretty impressed. The reviews have been pretty positive with this pen, and my review is positive as well. As far as anything I don't like about the pen, I really don't have anything. I think my expectations weren't very high going into it, but for a $6 pen, it's well worth it. If you see one of these on eBay, add it to your collection. It is well worth $6. I know some of the video reviews I was watching, some of the reviewers said they got their pen for like $2, like $2.50. I'm sure if you search enough on eBay or maybe even some other websites, you could probably find it in that price range. So, I mean, gosh, for $2, you should buy 2 of them. I will probably pick up another one of these in another color because kind of like my Jinhao pens, they're consistent writers, they're cheap, they're inexpensive, they're metal pens. You can bang them around, put them anything. This is another pen I'd put in to that class. I don't care if all this wears off over time. I can replace the pen down the line. It's not a huge investment and it writes well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, comment down below. Let us know if you have one of these pens. Let us know what you think. Let me know if you're thinking about getting one. I shall talk to you guys later. I've got another review that I'll be working on in the next couple days, and that one I'm really excited for. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.